currently in Boston, Al Horford, with his lowest offensive output of the playoffs last night. He had a playoff low 10 points. He only took 6 shots. Does Boston need to make sure that he's going offensively to be successful?
They do, Bees, because he forces Joel Embiid and Sarge in particular to work defensively. Sarge was terrific in yesterday's game. He had 25 points, 0 turnovers. So therefore, you got to put that guy on the post. You got to put him in pick and pop action and force him to move his feet defensively, and that'll take some away of his offensive production.
Fair enough. I want to say one thing about this. TJ McConnell.
Oh, yeah.
That is the MVP of this series right now if we were going to pick it today, because the one thing was the last game that they switched him out for Simmons. Not this time. He had a breakout game, 19 points, 9 of 12 shooting. When they put him in, that offense is completely different?
It is completely different for a variety of reasons. The number one reason, you see it right there. He's the primary ball handler at the top of the floor. You can put non-shooter Ben Simmons on the wing or on the baseline. Ben Simmons goes from, in theory, playing point guard, again, see pictured there, to playing like a power forward, in theory, in today's game. So it unlocks the floor, gives shooters room to operate, and he did a terrific job of being productive without turning the basketball over.
He was also a little spark.
Yes.
A little grit.
Yes, indeed.
A little excitement. He was like a little gnat running around the floor all night, and it was kind of fun to watch, actually.
He can ball.
He can ball. Joel Embiid, front and center, not one, but 2 altercations last night. First, had to be separated in a match, if you're watching from here, seems a little unfair with Terry Rozier. It was a little scuffle, nothing big. Later in the same game, a little bit more of a fair fight between he and Marcus Morris. This was more of a talking match, and Marcus Morris, I would say, got the win simply by doing the 3-0 number. But is there any concern as we move forward, no matter how long this series goes, that this could be a problem a la Draymond Green style?
No problem at all for Joel Embiid, because next game will be his final game of the year.
Well, okay,
so he won't have the opportunity to accumulate technicals. The other thing is that it was all about pride for Philadelphia. We talk so much about the process. It would have been a buzzkill for them to get swept in front of their fans. So, in theory, they came out and played their best, and they got the win.
Not so fast. Do I think that Philly is going to come back and win this series and become the first team ever to come from 3-0 down? Probably not. But let's not act as though this series has played out the way the Cavs and the Raptors did. Those games were, for the most part, non-competitive. I guess that the miracle shot from LeBron at the end to win one of those games. The Cavs just dominated in so many ways. I mean, Philly had a 22-point lead on the road at one point in this series, and the other game they lost, the one at home, was in overtime. So it's not as though they're being dominated. Stranger things have happened than them going to Boston and winning Game 5. If they win Game 5, and I wouldn't pick them to do it, I won't pick them to do it tomorrow night, but if they win Game 5, this becomes anybody's ball game, because they will be a favorite going home to win Game 6. Boston has not been good on the road in this postseason. They only have 1 win in the playoffs on the road, and that could potentially set up a Game 7.
Could it happen, Jalen?
It could happen. I'm not predicting it will happen, but it could happen.
Well, a lot of things could happen.
I understand that.
I mean,
but this one really could happen. I'm putting the really in it. The really changes everything.
This feels different than the other.
So how about this? Since we're going to try to extend this series by our conversation, are you picking them to win the next game in Boston?
How about this? Put a chance on it. You don't have to pick.
I mean, I'd give them like a 40 to 45% chance, which is a reasonable chance. How much? Now they've made the big move with TJ McConnell. That works once. Does it work twice? Does the genius Brad Stevens have some counter that the TJ McConnell switch is now all of a sudden a non-factor, or actually works against the Sixers in Game 5?
Here's the switch. The best defenders on Boston, besides Al Horford, all play on the perimeter. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Rozier, and they're going to play better on their home court. I would basically promise you, the way we saw TJ McConnell play on his home floor, that game won't translate to where he has 19 points and 0 turnovers. Sorry, 25 points, 0 turnovers. These are the type of things that you're able to do when you're playing in front of your fans. And there was a level of desperation for Philadelphia. Sure. But Boston is going to be ready for that when they get home. Brown only had 8 points. You said Horford had his playoff low in points for this year. I don't anticipate that's going to happen.
I guess what I'll say is this. At 3-0, which a lot of these series were. The Raptors, in my mind, were totally done.
That was done.
The Pelicans at 3-1, I think, are totally done.
Fair.
Houston and the Jazz, that's totally done. This one, to me, is not totally done. It's not done on the level those are done.
The reason why you think those are totally done, because one of them is Houston, who had the best record in the league.
Yeah.
The other one is Golden State, who's
Right.
the defending champions. And the other one has LeBron James. The only reason why you're overlooking Boston again, which you said you would not do.
I'm not.
Again.
Right.
And you picked who to win this series?
The Sixers
And how many?
in a sweep. I said they were going to sweep 4 games, and they will, just not the first 4.
Oh, very nice. I like what you did there.
All right, here we go. Cleveland. Kevin Love
That was
averaging
nice.
25 and 11 over his last 3 games. This is a brand new offense when he gets going, right?
It's about matchups for Kevin Love. Indiana up front have a level of toughness that kept Kevin Love from being able to get off. The Toronto Raptors have lumberers up front, which means anytime he's being guarded by Valanciunas, he's slow of foot and should not be 23 feet away from the basket. Therefore, you pump fake him, you get to the bucket. Now you put younger players on Kevin Love in the post, he's able to take advantage of that matchup. So Kevin Love, to me, his production is based on the opponent when he's able to take advantage of who's standing in front of him.
He averaged, what, 11.5 points in the first round, now 20.5 points? It's a heck of a jump. And one that they so desperately very much needed. After 82 straight regular season games and 11 playoff games, LeBron and company will finally get a little bit of rest. After the win last night, James was asked about his upcoming time off before these conference finals. Here's LeBron.
We've earned the right to get some rest our bodies, kind of recalibrate our mind, not having to indulge into another playoff scheme or another playoff series just yet until possibly Wednesday night. So, our plan is to take care of our bodies, get as much rest, optimal rest as possible, and then lock back in once we get back on the practice floor.
I mean, timing-wise, it's perfect. You go 7 in the first round, you sweep this one, and now you get the much-needed break.
And for everybody that says, LeBron played 82 games, he's so tired.
Oh, he's
He played
tired.
7 games against the Pacers, he's so tired. This is how you get rest. You take care of your business. And that's exactly what they did in this round. They're going to be fresh, and they get extra days to prepare for Boston because that's who they're going to face.
I don't like the negative attitude.
And
it could happen.
It could happen.
It has to happen.
But it will not happen. Okay. And I'm going to tell you this. How they played against the Pacers is going to mirror the series when they play against Boston. Kevin Love will not be playing this well against the Celtics like he's doing against the Raptors because the matchup isn't as favorable. Morris, Horford, they will make sure that he's not the level of he doesn't have the level of productivity in the next series that he has in this series.
So then
it's all
who
about
picks up the
matchup.
slack?
LeBron James.
Only LeBron James.
It's going to be all about LeBron. It's going to be LeBron heavy against the Celtics like it was against the Indiana Pacers in order for them to advance.
And are all of them carrying pom-poms for the Sixers to force a Game 6 and potentially a Game 7, right?
Absolutely.
So tomorrow night becomes a very big night for how the thing projects going forward as well.
Okay, so here's what I want to ask you, because he did play the 82 games. We've seen him just do things that I don't think anybody would have predicted at this point in his career. Does he need the rest? Because it seems as if I'm just the person who landed on Earth and watching. I'm like, this dude's fine.
The reason why he needs the rest is more, because he just needs the days off, but also it gives the team a chance to prepare. Here's what happens in the playoffs. Everybody knows what you're running. As soon as you cross half court, Greeny and Beads, as soon as you get into a set and people start standing in certain spots, everybody's calling out your play. The coaching staff, the guys on the floor. But what happens when you get these days off, you add little wrinkles to fool them. And in particular, sideline out of bounds plays, baseline out of bounds plays, late game situations, last 2-minute type of plays. These are the type of things that get instituted when you have days off.
Meanwhile, on planet Earth, we're keeping with the LeBron theme. Don't worry. Enes Kanter did a Q&A on Twitter last night and was asked, who is the king of New York? He had a message
Biggie.
for LeBron. No.
Hey, so people keep debating about who is the king of New York. Okay, who is the really king of New York? Hey, LeBron, yes. You really want to be king of New York? Come and prove it. I'll see you July 1st, brother. Good luck.
That's a
I see that happening. I see that as a real likelihood. I can see that. Why not? Why not?
Well,
LeBron, go play there. Go play in New York next year. I can see that.
This is the greatness of LeBron, and I like Enos Cantor. Is it the same guy that was trolling LeBron when they came to town?
Of course.
Okay.
So?
Is it the same guy that was putting up tweets when LeBron lost games?
But that's an opponent. He's wanting to make him a brother.
Correct. Not you don't go from trolling me to begging me. It don't work like that.
Can I ask you a question?
Kind of does.
Why are you standing up? Just, I mean.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing right now. The body language is weird.
Because I like my outfit.
I like it too.
Oh my God.
All right, it is possible that on Thursday we will have a pair of Game 6s for you. It's all going to depend on what happens in the Game 5s. If we do have Game 6s Thursday, it'll be 8 Eastern, Warriors, Pelicans, and then after that one, Rockets and Jazz.
We'll know
from
tonight.
Lake City. Coverage begins 7 Eastern with NBA Countdown. As always, everything is live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. All right, this is a very big day for me. Today in a bookstore near you or anywhere online that you buy books, you're going to be able to find one that's called MVP, Most Valuable Puppy. And it was written by my wife, Stacey, and me, and it stars our beloved Australian Labradoodle, Phoebe. And the book is about a little girl who wants to learn how to play sports and her dog who can teach her because she, the dog, spends every morning watching their father talk about sports on TV. It's fun, and I hope that all the kids who read it or have it read to them will love it. But I want to tell you quickly the story. While today is the release, the book was born on September 30th, 2009, when one of the closest friends Stacey and I ever had, and one of the most delightful people you could ever know, Heidi Armitage, died of cancer at the age of 43. And it was sitting at her memorial service behind her kids, who were then 9 and 6, when something inside of me said I had to do something. I stopped being sad and I became the angriest I've ever been because it was about the most unjust thing I'd ever seen happen up close. So in her memory, I wrote a novel, and I've donated all the proceeds from that to the V Foundation for Cancer Research, and I still do. We're at $150,000 and counting on that book. And today we proudly continue. If you buy MVP, which is a children's picture book, which is not at all about cancer, every penny we receive will go directly to the V Foundation to fight pediatric cancer. I would also like to tell you that we had dinner with Heidi's husband and her kids 2 weeks ago. Her son Walker graduates from high school this month, and they're damn proud of what we're doing in their mom's memory. And all I can say is if you had known Heidi, you would know it's the very least we could do. So I thank everybody for all your support. This one is a labor of love for me in every sense of the word, and I have signed copies here for both of my co-hosts. Jalen, yours is signed by the author, but Beetle, you made a request, and I followed up. Take a look at the picture. Yours is signed by the star. So that one is signed.
Leroy and Winnie are going to be very excited about this.
Hey, Greenie, you're a class act. You and your wife, Stacey. This is a terrific tribute, and thank you very much for the book.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, yes.
I hope that anyone who reads it, again, it's meant to be read by or read to little children.
Or big children.
Or big children.
Yep.
Children of any age. Jalen, I think you in particular will enjoy it. I don't even know what I mean by that.
It has a lot of pictures. I'll enjoy it.
Let's take a short break. The Raptors season ended last night, and they have a whole off season now.
Walees!
To think about their future, but maybe it's just time to blow up the whole thing. We'll consider that option, and I'll endorse it next.